up, everybody? It's Soren Baker here on Unique Access, and we're here with Money B. Thanks again for coming through, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, man. And we're booked to talk about Hype Man, the Money B story. So, for you being around, being in Digital Underground and being around, rap when it was really exploding in a different way, in a bigger way, but being a hype man, like, how do you think your world was different than, like, Shock G, for instance?
Well, the title, Hype Man, and I get this a lot when I tell people the title. They go, you weren't a hype man.
Yeah, I wouldn't have said that either.
Yeah, and why do you say that about yourself? Well, really, it's just the meaning of it is that, I wasn't the focal person, the main person in the group. Obviously anybody knows I wasn't the hype man, but even more so, the title is the Hype Man, meaning that, to me, the whole music industry is sort of like this, just hype. It's all about hype. So if you're in it, you're part of the hype machine. You are a hype man. You are a hype man. I'm a hype man, because we are in this whole business of hype.
Right.
This is the new guy, or this is this, or he's that, or did you hear about this? It's all about hype, 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 and that's what gets the attention in the music. So I purposely titled it Hype Man, even though I've never been a hype man per se, but it's just being in this business is really all about hype. Yeah,
because to your point, I even remember when they'd be saying like Flavor Flav was one. I was like, well, he has his own songs, and like he, can hold his own and does hold his own very well.
I only know a few well-known hype men, like Earl he was LL's hype man. That's all he did. What's the name with Too Short? Too Clean was his hype man. And then you had Hammer had Too Big MC. Yeah. But even Too Big MC had a record.
Yeah, he had a record.
But he was really a hype man.
But that was later too. But
yeah, but you know what I mean? It's like
right. That's what
usually was. It's a partner that has a lesser role. Like, I compare my role in Digital Underground as kind of like, like how Phife was in Tribe Called Quest. He rhymed less than Q-Tip. But I know that a lot of the ideas and the production came from Tip, But a lot of people love Phife just as, if not more, in the group, and his role was just as important.
Yeah, and then in the Hype Man book, one thing that I thought in the beginning of the book that you talked about was pretty interesting was kind of like your welcome to being famous moment when the girls kind of approached you talking to you about your sweat.
Right.
So for you, you have a great anecdote and a great story about that in the book, which I think everybody should read because it's hilarious. But for you, going on the road, like, what was it like to really not understand the impact that your records were making? And then when you went to Europe for the festival for the first time, like, looking back on it, like, what was it like to not fully appreciate how big your records had gone and were, and you weren't even aware of it?
Because once again, and that's why it's so funny, is understand there was no internet. And so the only way that you knew about another place is you had to either know somebody there or you had to go there. So we didn't know how people in Memphis dressed. We didn't know what music people were really listening to in Austin, Texas. We didn't know, you don't know it until you get there. So then imagine and that's just in the United States. So to go halfway around the world to Europe and find out you got the #1 record, and see the influence that you have is kind of crazy, but there's no way that we could have known. Even if somebody would have said, your record's really big in Germany, which it was, but we were big in the Bay Area, but because we were from the Bay Area, we knew people, so it didn't even feel like you were big. Even though you were big, we only traveled in circles of people that we knew anyway. Gotcha. So, you'd walk through the streets and everybody notice you or say, what's up? But even back then, Humpty Dance was the big record. We had to watch it like out, but it wasn't like people, recognized me and knew who I was. They knew Humpty. So me and Shock could move around fairly easily. You know what I'm saying?
Which is crazy in and of itself.
and whatever. But you could hear us we hear ourselves on the radio all the time. And when we go do the shows, they were packed and people were, and we would we could get in the club whenever we wanted to. That's really what you wanted to do, get in the club. But we could get in the club, but so we were famous, but it didn't feel famous when you're just at home. It's not until you leave when they've never seen you, and this might be the only time that they'll get to touch you and see you, then that's when you start to feel it. And so in my book, I just talk about the first times that I started venturing outside of the Bay Area and experiencing people experiencing me.